Okay, just my luck. My ice maker starts screeching like a banshee just shortly after the warranty expires. I make a call, and we are looking at over $300 to have a tech come out and fix it. So I am going to do an exorcism myself and see if I can eradicate this banshee. Having never looked inside this machine, I start by taking off the back panel. There are 9 screws holding this in place. Seeing that it was nothing I could access from the back of the maker, I needed to take the top off. There are 4 rubber bushings over screws that hold the top on. These can simply be pried up with a screwdriver. After that, you can remove the screws holding the top in place. There is a small wire that easily unplugs that will allow you to free the top completely once the screws are removed. The next thing to remove is the ice shield. 3 simple screws hold this in place. You can remove these, and now you are looking at the top of the ice spindle, and this is where I believe the evil banshee lurks. There are a few steps to remove the spindle shield. The first 2 screws of the 6 that hold it in place are clearly visible from above. You can remove these now. Before removing the last 4 screws, you need to move the reservoir over because the spout of the reservoir hangs over the spindle shield, and it will need to be slid back before the spindle shield can be lifted straight up. The reservoir has 1 screw through the frame into the reservoir. To access this, unscrew 5 of the 6 screws that hold the side of the ice maker in place. Once they are removed, you can pull back the side just enough to access this screw. The other 2 screws that hold the reservoir in place can be easily accessed from the top. Now, with the reservoir slid back, you can remove the last 4 screws from the spindle shield. They are down in the small holes on the shield that surround the spindle. And then from there, you can simply remove the styrofoam packing around the ice spindle. For the next step, you will need a socket wrench. There are 4 bolts that keep the spindle head in place. Remove these and pull straight up on the spindle head. Once removed, you can access the spindle. Pull it straight up. I take a look at the bushings and rubber washers expecting to see damage, but they actually look great. There seems to be a lot of sludge in the bottom and some iron buildup or lime on the top. One of the things I did notice that there was a very small round ball of styrofoam in the screws of the spiral, like right on the cutting edge, that would have been between the spirals and the walls of the cylinder. Not sure if this was the banshee, but thinking back on the banshee scream, it certainly did sound like squeaking styrofoam. But just because I was not sure, I cleaned every part that I had out. I even took a screwdriver and cleaned the sludge out of the bottom of the cylinder. If the styrofoam was the culprit, I am not sure how it could have gotten there where it was. And so while I had everything apart, I just took a soft wire brush and removed all the lime and iron deposits. I also took the rubber bushings and flipped them over so the new sides would be facing out. Once I was satisfied that everything was clean, I put the spindle back in place and secured the top back over it. From here on out, it was just the same process of retracing my steps but backwards to put all the pieces back together. So start with your styrofoam and put it in place. Then screw back into place your spindle shield. Then, starting on the side, secure your reservoir back into the frame of the ice maker and replace the 2 top screws to secure it down. Make sure the reservoir lip is over the spindle shield. Then you can place your ice cap back into position and screw it down. Then reattach your case sides. Clip back in your top wire to the top plate. Screw your top plate back into place. Slide in your back plate and screw it into position. Start by wedging it between the top plate and align it with the screw holes. Last but not least, insert your 4 rubber screw plugs back on top. Fill with water, plug in your ice maker back into the wall and wait. Hopefully, like me, your exorcism was a success. If this video helped you, please leave a comment and a thumbs up.